welcome. Good morning. My name's Carol Bodell, Executive National Vice President, Independent Consultant, and I'm here with Executive National Vice President, Independent Consultant Maxine King. And what a treat we have for you this morning, or evening if you're in Australia. And Maxine and I are just so excited to bring you this call. And I want to thank you, Gladys, in advance for being willing to share your expertise with us this morning. And Gladys is going to be our guest speaker. Can't wait for you to meet her. Today will be a product spotlight for you. And don't you just love that? We haven't done that before, and I think it's just really a great thing to do. And Gladys shared the information that you're going to be hearing today on the amazing benefits of our full control at my national meeting last month. And it was so good that many people, including myself, said, we have got to get her on Zoom so that we can hear that information again. So let me introduce you to Gladys. Dr. Gladys Walter is a pharmacist with a master in science in biochemistry and a PhD in pharmacology. She was born and raised in Brazil and has lived in the United States since 2006. Her husband, Dr. Stefan Walter, is from Germany, and he's also a biochemist. And together they have a daughter, Elena Walter, and she's 9 years old, and they live in Ann Arbor. At 17 years old, Gladys chose to go to pharmacy school with one dream: to learn how to extract and purify active compounds from plants. Oh my gosh, is that perfect for Arbonne? That was the beginning of her exciting life in research and teaching that would bring her to the United States. Her professional background includes winning an international prize in Japan for drug discovery. Oh my goodness. We have a star with us. The compound was extracted from seaweed. She was a professor of biochemistry for pharmacy for the fields of nursing, physical therapy, speech pathology, nutrition, and dietitian. She was a coordinator of the Pharmaceutical Assistance Clinic of Diabetes and Obesity. She received her PhD in pharmacology from the University of Sao Paulo, Brazil, where her area of specialty was cancer research. I know your minds are just thinking right now about, oh my gosh, I want to ask her this and that. Gladys also did postdoctoral work at the Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation. Her area there was infectious diseases, and at the University of Michigan in neurodegenerative diseases and immunological diseases. Did I say that right? Immunological diseases. Anyway, you know what I mean. At Michigan. Gladys worked at University of Michigan from 2008 till 2015, and after a year of sabbatical to adapt to a life schedule change, she wasn't able to find a senior scientist position in Michigan in drug discovery and development because all the open positions were outside of the state. And at the same time, her husband started working in Rochester Hills, Michigan. So what does a girl do? Right? Arbonne. I added that bit in there. Gladys was introduced to Arbonne in 2015 and became a consultant in 2016. She met her sponsor, Letitia Vereson, and Paula Prisby attending a business fair in Novi, and was introduced and invited to do the business. And she says that for her as a scientist, it is very gratifying to see the products that she recommends to her clients that are supported by great scientific evidence. So do you think she's qualified to talk to us, guys? Yes. So take it away, Gladys. We're so excited you're here with us today. You're going to need to unmute your phone. Do you know how to see that little magnifier or that little speaker there on the bottom left?
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so thank you so much. It has been such a great opportunity to meet so many nice and influential people in my life. So looks like I have 200 years old for everything that I have accomplished, but because of Arbonne, I look like so much younger. So in the meeting, when I talked about full control, it was very interesting because I started with the question, how many people sell the full control and how many full control they normally sell? And there was like a few people raising their arms, and then I told them that this is one of the products that I most sell. And then I told them this story, and that's what I'm going to share with you. So I have a couple of clients that started using the full control, and they were so happy. They were feeling so healthy, so enthusiastic about. So they were telling other friends, and that's how this story started. And at some point, one day, a friend invited me for lunch, and then she told me she had lots of restrictions because she has ulcerative colitis. Then I offer to help her. Normally, what I do is I ask the person if I can search for what is new in the treatment for their disease. And if they say okay, then I go on PubMed and then I search for what's new in the area. And surprisingly, when I was searching for ulcerative colitis natural products, I came across a certain number of publications, but 3 of them were very new. They are from the last 3 years, and all they were using different plants in different parts of the world, and all the studies converged to one compound that was glucomannan. And when I saw glucomannan, I know this compound. This compound is in full control. It's the main ingredient of full control. Then going through the publications, it's amazing how much this product does. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. So once in a while, I'm looking on the side for my notes. So the ulcerative colitis, normally the patients, they complain because there's a huge inflammation in the intestine. Together with that, because some parts of the intestine are lost, there are ruptures on the membrane, they have bleeding. At some point, they need to go through very invasive treatments, and normally the treatment that is done today, it's with the corticosteroids. And the corticosteroids, taking corticosteroids along the years, there are lots of adverse effects. And at some point, they need to give up the treatment because they start losing a bone mass and having fractures and so on. And then what I was looking into glucomannan is that normally these patients, they have a lot of water because of the inflammation in the intestine. There is a lot of accumulation of water, and they cannot take water during the day as a normal person. They need to have only 1-2 glasses per day. It's also recommended that they don't take fibers, because the fibers will compromise the immunological system, will send more cells, more leukocytes to that area, and there will be a huge inflammation. So there are restrictions in water and in fiber. Looking into the full control, what we see, what these 3 publications haven't shown is that the fiber that is soluble, and this is very important, that the full control, it's a soluble fiber. What it does is that when taken 30 minutes before the meal, it will be exactly in the small portion of the intestine at the right time. There will be absorption of water in the intestine. In about 1-2 weeks, patients have reported that they have an improvement on the inflammation, and they reduce weight because this excess of water is then used by the soluble fiber, by the glucomannan. So there is a huge volume of the fiber. It can increase in up to 100 times what we take, and goes through the small intestine, and there in the small intestine will absorb the water, and the inflammation will be reduced. In about 2 weeks, they will start to feel really well. With time, these ruptures in the membrane, because there is not excessive water, less leukocytes, these membranes, they will form again. And amazingly, they will be formed in a way that it's a normal membrane again. So all that pores, all that ruptures, they are gone. So it forms a protection along the intestine. Because of that, what happened is that 30 minutes after, when all this is happening, you eat. And when the food arrives in the small intestine, the absorption of glucose will be reduced. And also the absorption of cholesterol will be reduced. So with time, the glucomannan will control the passage, the absorption of glucose and cholesterol that goes from your intestine to your blood vessel. And it is an amazing, and there are even other studies showing that in type 2 diabetes, even the problems that are developed, secondary problems that lead to the cardiac disease, they are also gone. And everything happens just taking this tiny amount of this soluble fiber. What else I have to share with you is that these peer-reviewed publications, they were done mainly in Asia. So I focus in 3 of these publications. These are different plants. The last publication, that's from 2017, is specifically of one plant, that's konjac. It's the glucomannan that it's extracted from konjac. And this is exactly what we have here in the full control. I'm not selling the product or advertising, but it was so amazing to see all this study that was done in 2016 and published this year about, in a certain way, our product. And looking online, I also found that in England, it has been used in the last years in clinical studies. So the clinicians, they incorporate the glucomannan to the treatment of the patients. And I'd like to observe here that in any case, the patient gave up the normal treatment with the corticosteroids. So the doctors, they simply incorporate the full control. And after a couple of months, the inflammation was gone. So there is no reason why to continue with the treatment with the corticosteroids. And it is also amazing. And what was also observed is that some of the products that I would say a product that has been used for centuries in Asia, and in our case, the konjac, it's originally from Japan. It has reached the Western world like just now. And we are here with one of the best products. When I checked online to see what's available in the market, there are many, many brands. And the EU has authorized the glucomannan to be part of the treatment of all diseases that involve intestine inflammation, all of them. And in Canada, it was recently approved also for the treatment of all the bowel diseases, inflammatory bowel diseases. So let me see, among other things. So let's see if I forgot something else. We have a product that when we take 30 minutes before the meal, does all that. But recently someone asked me, can I mix the full control with one of the drinks, the hydration drink, or prepare together with shake? No, you cannot. The full control has to be taken isolated because it's a fiber. If you mix the full control with a shake, most of the vitamins will be incorporated into the fiber that will be released by your body, and it won't be absorbed. So this is very important also to take in account. As any other fiber, you cannot take the full control together with the medicine, for example. I even made, I was teasing there in our meeting saying that I don't want to see like babies being born, like lots of babies being born because of full control, right? So you don't take a fiber together with the medicine because it will be incorporated into the fiber and you won't have the effect of the medicine. Let's see, what else? Yeah, it's basically that. Did I forget something, Carol?
How about magnesium? You talked a bit about that too, the magnesium in the full control.
Oh yes, thank you so much for reminding me. After the intestine have the growth of the new lamina, of the new tissue, and everything is in place, the enzymes that we need to process our foods, they are produced again. But most of these enzymes, they need to be activated by magnesium. So our formulation has magnesium as one of the star ingredients. So you may have everything. You find in the market glucomannan from different brands, from well, there are lots if you check online. But ours has the enzymes, and most of the other formulations don't have. The one more thing is that the full control. Every time someone asks me, what is the difference between Arbonne, between your product and the other products? Well, I worked with the toxicology. I work with so many things in life. And the first time I opened the full control, when I saw how the grains may look crazy, but when I saw how the grains were dried and the structure of the grains, I saw, wow, this is a great product. And the other thing I'd like to point is that when I used to buy peptides, for example, for one specific experiment, the laboratory that provides me the peptides always asked, do you want, we need to check the quality of your peptides before we send you. Do you want us to do 1 test, 2 tests, or 3 tests to verify the purity of your product? And the prices are different. And I always said, I need the one that has the 3 tests because I need to make sure this product is pure. And the price was really very, very high. So when your client asks, what's the difference between your product and all the others that are in the market? I'm not saying that they are not good, but in our case, I'm sure we have 1, 2, 3 or more tests to make sure that that product has a very good quality. And that's why we see the effect in our skin and in our in our body in a general way.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that great information. And it was a lot to take in, but just thinking of the overall picture that she shared with us of the kind of products that Armand brings to us, the purity, the clinical testing, wow. So I know you're sitting here and have a lot of questions. And Maxine, I didn't know if you wanted to say something first, but we'd love to, if you can just take a few minutes to open up your questions.
Yeah, Carol, I just wanted to thank you, Gladys, for all of that information. I just recently, I go in spurts of being consistent with that product and then not being consistent. And recently I've been mixing it. Debbie actually reminded me that she mixes it with her greens, and I do that first thing in the morning and love the taste of those together. But my question, I guess, is do you recommend it then 3 times a day for sure?
Yeah, that's a very good question. If the inflammation is really severe, I would recommend it 3 times per day.
Okay.
For us that don't have ulcerative colitis or any inflammatory bowel disease, I would recommend 1 or twice a day. That should be enough. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then as far as the magnesium, how much magnesium? We have I think it's 100 milligrams in our per serving. How much magnesium do you recommend on a daily basis?
I'm not able to answer this question right now, but I'm sure that they made a big research before they released the product. We certainly have what's enough.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, you've made me a believer again, and I'm definitely going to be more consistent with it. So thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
So I have a quick question. And I've taken full control with the greens too. So are you saying we shouldn't take it with the greens balance?
No.
We can take it. We can or we shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't, because as I mentioned before, some of the very top ingredients and vitamins and minerals will be in the fiber.
The fiber will pull all those nutrients.
It will be in that structure that will be released by your body. So it instead of going through the lamina into the blood vessels, it will take another path. So you are throwing away money.
Yeah.
So no more, and we're throwing away all those wonderful antioxidants and phytonutrients, etc. So we're going to put our greens balance in our shake.
Yes.
Oh, thank you for clarifying that. We've been doing that. I've been doing that totally wrong too. Isn't this great information? Okay, anybody have a question? Just unmute yourself if you do.
Gladys, I have a question. How much time should someone wait between taking the full control or fiber and their medicine?
30 minutes.
Okay.
30
Just
minutes.
what Armand says, amazing.
Yeah, it's exactly.
I guess we can't underestimate our company.
And the clinical studies that were done in England, they were done exactly with the same proportion that we use, and 3 times per day. So it's really amazing.
Wow.
Considering that it was released this year, the publication. Does anyone know when the full control was first put on the market for our company?
Was it 2 or 3 years ago, I believe?
Yeah, I think it's probably 3 years ago.
I think so too. So Armand's been ahead of the time, wouldn't you say?
It was 3 years ago because I was part of the trials for it.
Perfect.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Kendall.
So,
Wow.
Carol, this is Debbie, and I was just wondering, how do we market this product beyond, what Arbonne says it's for, This is a product for people. It's to feel fuller. So like she said, it's a fiber. Mm-hmm. But is there a way that we can market this that it's like, obviously, if you don't have these symptoms, it's a really great product as well, right, doctor? That's right, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be taken, for example, with a glass of water. Mm-hmm. Or 2 glasses of water. You cannot use just a tiny amount. Mm-hmm. And normally what I tell to my clients is that it has been done clinical studies in England, mm-hmm. and it has been approved in Canada for the treatment of bowel disease.
Okay.
The U.S. Will be the next country. I just say that. I'm sure it will. There's no reason why not, but it depends on the FDA. And the regulations are different in each country or continent.
And do you recommend everyone to be on it?
Yes, it doesn't harm. It has been. There are also clinical studies with children. Because amazingly, they discovered that the product was also happened. Somebody observed that the skin, people with dermatitis, suddenly the dermatitis was also gone. The problem was solved. Wow! So they did a clinical study with the children. I don't know exactly in which country. Mm-hmm. And all the problem with a specific kind of dermatitis was solved. So I always, so I normally say, because my clients suddenly they lost weight, but not a lot. It was something that was happening naturally, but people were observing. But what was interesting is because their skin is so beautiful. And these are people that are still not mine, they are in line. Yeah. So I thought, is it associated or not? And then I found this study also.
Wow.
Thank you.
I guess when we're just listening to people and hearing what they're saying, we can say, hey, you may want to try this too, because here's what we've learned about this product. You may want to consider it.
Yeah, and Carol, there was a question in the chat room about thermal booster. Mm-hmm. Have you guys, about the thermal boost. Have you studied that, Gladys?
No. I didn't look in details. I can do it for sure as a next project. But I'm very fan of the product. I use it every morning, and it doesn't give any. My heart doesn't accelerate or anything like that.
Okay.
Because the extracts that are used, they come from the leaves and not from the grains of the plants. Wow. So I believe that's the difference. It has other compounds that. It's a group of compounds that are in the leaves that are in the extracts that we use. Because we own the patent. This is something that I always tell people when I want to advertise. Many products in the market all over the world, they use green tea and coffee. Extract of green coffee and extract of green tea as a booster of the metabolism. It's an natural accelerator of the metabolism. But what happens is that we own the patent. So I assume that when this happens, we know exactly, Arbonne knows exactly which compounds in the extract had the effect. Yeah. So we have a pure extract that are used, incorporate into the product, while the other brands, they use all the extract, the full extract. So in our case, it's concentrated. We use exactly the compounds that have the effect to accelerate the metabolism.
Awesome information.
Carol, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Gladys, thank you so much for this information. Oh my gosh, I'm just soaking it in. I have a question in regard to people who have diabetes and the glucose absorption.
Uh-huh.
What are your thoughts on that?
About the product?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So as I said, the product, the absorption of glucose happens in the small part of the initial part of the intestine. If the fiber is there, part of this glucose will attach to the fiber instead of going through the lamina and the blood vessel. And there are many, many studies that show that it controls the glycemia. And so the level of cholesterol and glucose in the blood, it's really reduced along the time when it's used as a treatment. It means that it's used in a regular basis. And it's type 2 diabetes, not type 1.
Right, got it. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Gladys.
Oh my gosh, think of the people we can help by just sharing this great information.
Yeah, Gladys, we also have another question in the chat room. Magnesium, is it beneficial for sleeping and leg cramps? It says several girls in my yoga class take magnesium supplement for this reason, wondering if they could recommend full control instead.
I would then I would recommend just the magnesium, taking the magnesium. There's no need to take the fiber. As I said, it's a formulation and it's more expensive for sure.
Yeah, okay.
It's for the muscle, so you need a higher dose.
Okay, and then Rachel also said that she has chronic leg and foot cramps and most of her life due to very low magnesium level, and also recently diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome or irritable bowel. So this product will be perfect for her, correct?
Yes, it will be perfect. And then I would add, would take additional magnesium on top of that. Because
and Rachel, do you have the full control in Australia?
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think we do. I've never actually noticed it, to be honest.
Okay.
So I'm quite embarrassed by that. But I will definitely be getting online after this and ordering some if we have it. So very excited.
We do have it in Australia.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks, Priscilla.
Oh, cool. Excellent. Very excited.
That's awesome, Rach. Priscilla, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, just a real quick question, and thank you, Gladys, so much. I mean, again, I'm so amazed about Arbonne. I now am excited to get to know the full control. I used it before, but I didn't really understand the benefits. And so my question is, because initially I used the full control and the now new name Metabolism Support together because I just thought they go together. But my understanding is that really full control is more on the elimination of, let's just say, the excess water retention, and the metabolism support is really there to kickstart metabolism. Is that my understanding?
Yes, exactly. When they are combined, so one basically treats the intestine. It helps with the absorption or no absorption of some components of our diet.
Okay.
And the other acts, when combined, well, it accelerates the metabolism. So it's the perfect combination. Yeah,
Great.
It's different, but when combined, they give you like such a good quality of life.
Well, that I'm very excited because for the perimenopausal women out there, and I was just at a women's group a month and a half ago, and a friend of mine she's a nurse and she specializes in women's studies. And the question of weight gain came up, and it was, and you probably know this as well, but the question was, well, so is it true as menopausal women gain weight? She said, actually, it's not menopause that causes it. It just happens to be that our metabolism slows down at the time we become menopausal. So I think this could be a great product for someone like me who is perimenopausal, and I have excess weight around my midsection, but also for other women. So I'm really, really excited about this too, because I think, you know, again, we have products that can help everybody for different needs at different seasons in their life. So I can't wait to hear a little bit more later when you understand the metabolism support. So this has been very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a very good observation. The metabolism changes along our life. Mm-hmm. And we need to be aware of that. Sometimes it's not the food that everything is about calories, mm-hmm. But it's not. When you go to biochemist, you understand then it's metabolism, and the metabolism will change in different periods of your life. So you need to be aware of that. It's the problem is the metabolism. We are what we are because of our hormones then.
So Gladys, just a couple other questions real quick.
Yes.
We have one that says, what if you don't want to lose weight? Can you still take this and it still be good for you?
What happened with me? Well, everybody, from here in Michigan, in our meetings, they know how I am. I'm not super fat, or I think I'm just normal. Just normal. But what happened is that I took a full control, and I lost a few pounds, just a few, because you are not going to lose what your body needs, really.
Okay. It'll
so yeah, she's going to lose only what is necessary for that time.
All right. Mostly
it's for inflammation in the gut. Mm-hmm. And when the inflammation goes down, so does a little bit of the water. So it's water weight. Mm-hmm. Not losing muscle or fat or anything important like that.
And then just one other question. Can you take this for celiac?
Well, yes.
Okay.
These studies, in all the publications, they recommend that. So there are not specific studies about, but they recommend that the treatment is extended to all the other bowel inflammatory disease. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, so what I understood you to say is all inflammatory diseases.
Yes, because what will change in the inflammatory disease, depending on the disease, is the immunological response. So, then it's very complex, and the mechanism is still not completely understood. So, but it's good for all of them.
Yeah, and then just one other thing, somebody had asked if there was a flyer, and I loved what I think Katie said, to go to the Meet the Products, which is right in Shop Online, you guys, right next to the product, and print that off. And just remember that we're not doctors, unless you're a doctor on this call. We are not doctors, so we can't make any claims as to this heals and this, so just make sure what you're saying is just, recommendations and things that you have heard in testimonials.
Just like Gladys said, from the clinical studies, this may be something you want to consider. It may benefit you, but yes, no, this is what it will do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I love that we have this recording, because we can definitely share this.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Gladys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. We can't thank you enough. And please, if you do more research on other products, we'd love to have you, since you are a teacher and a researcher, back to share with us. And of course, we will at our national meeting. And I want to just ask all of you, was this helpful to have something about product on these calls? Would you like something like that more often?
Absolutely.
Yes, for sure.
And I know it was for me. And Molly, you say yes. So, okay, thank you so much. I think we need to wrap it up. And thank all of you for being on. And again, Gladys and Maxine, you can close out the call. And I know she's recording it, so we'll get this out to you.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy your day everywhere in the world.
Yes.
Bye, everyone. See you next week.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thank you. This was amazing.